All right, folks, welcome into another great episode of Living in San Diego, joined by my buddy, Faharra Farmer.
That's
New
right.
to town, maybe only here a year. How long you been here?
I've been here about 2.5.
2.5
3
years.
years.
Okay, so
right
still
now.
new, but tell me where you're from, what you've been up to before that.
Oh, Memphis, Tennessee. From
Yep.
Memphis, Tennessee. Started off doing music, and the music opened up avenues for entertainment. You know, throwing shows, being part of the scene, and that opened up the clothing brand and the TV network and everything. So
Well, Joe, I'm excited you're here. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it, man.
So you're new to San Diego still. What are some things that you wish you knew about San Diego before you got here?
I studied so much about San Diego before I got here. I kind of knew quite a bit.
Yeah.
But things I wish I've known is I wish I didn't say I didn't know it, but I experienced it.
Yeah.
Like the traffic.
Yep.
You know, traffic, things like that.
Give me an example of that, because is there less traffic than Memphis? More traffic? It's more traffic.
Oh, it's more traffic.
Okay.
Memphis is a smaller city.
Because
So,
where are you experiencing traffic the most?
probably around the downtown area and like going into like La Jolla.
Yep.
Places like that, you know, with the really wide interstates. So we're not used to that. Like if you're downtown Memphis, everywhere in Memphis, if you're downtown, it's 25 minutes away. Memphis is not a big city.
Yeah, and there's not much traffic.
Yeah, so I have people out here, they be like, could you meet me so-and-so, so-and-so? It's about 30 minutes, so-and-so. I'm like, well, that's a long time to drive for me because I'm not used to driving that long. So
yeah, and it's true, because you have to rely on your car here. You know, like even if you're a minimum wage person, I've done the math, it makes more sense to hire an Uber than to sit in public transit for 1 to 2 hours. So we don't have great public transportation, but it's possible, depending on where you work and where you live, you could just get by on a bike and Ubers.
Yeah, and I see a lot of people doing it, and I understand, get it, man. But the traffic is one thing. I think the one thing that I didn't know was all the different cultures of people. Like I literally had a culture shock.
Yeah,
because I was here. I wasn't out in the open because it was the pandemic that much, but I was here 3 months and I didn't see a black person.
Okay, and then what happened?
Like, and then I see the black person. Then I was like, okay, I started seeing more black people. Then I was like, in Memphis, you basically almost see like black people, white people, and Hispanic people. That's it. So the culture here, I was almost uncomfortable because I'm like, I don't know this race of people. Like I've never seen that, you know, and the culture of people is just so different. It's so big and it's so broad, and I love it. I love it. It was just a culture shock to go outside and not see what I normally see. Like I had never met a Filipino person. Now I do.
Are you seeing? Yeah, and I was actually just at the Filipino American Friendship Festival like a week ago.
Awesome, man.
And there's a bunch of people there, 70 plus businesses. Yeah. And my kids do Filipino martial arts. And that's awesome. That's cool to see that. But you know what I've experienced here, the same thing. I grew up in Michigan. I experienced a lot more diversity of experiences, right? I find that I do have different people from different ethnicities getting together more often, right? Anytime I see a group of people, there's like mixed people in there. It's not like all just one race a lot of times, you know? So it's cool that it is a little bit more integrated and people are more comfortable with venturing away from people that they only look like.
Right. And I see it as an experience, and it's so amazing because a lot of the people that I met here I met at the YouTuber San Diego meeting. My guy 9 Millie, he's a YouTuber, and he was the first person I met. I got an Uber before my cars got here. I got an Uber, and he Ubered me and my son to the beach, and he told me I do YouTube, and that's how we clicked. And he introduced me to the YouTuber San Diego, and a lot of those I thought they were Hispanic, and, you know, in another culture, and a lot of them are Filipino. And so just being around them and talking to them and their culture it's just amazing to be able to experience that.
What else we got that's things you didn't really understand about San Diego before you got here?
The way people dress.
Okay.
The way people dress is like nobody's trying to impress anybody. You know, it's like everybody comfortable. Yeah, everybody comfortable. They got on sandals, they got on tank tops.
You don't see suits often.
You don't see them unless they do business.
No,
you know?
And even then, it's like business casual is business wear a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah.
Like lawyers, some are wearing suits a lot. But I deal with a lot of business guys, and they're always in business casual.
Yeah.
I have no problem showing up in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But especially with younger people, I see athleisure and just sweatpants are just common. And usually young kids try to be more fashionable, but maybe that's in fashion now. What do we know? We're getting older.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I'm in the grocery store.
Yep.
And I see women walking around with like 2-piece on, like almost bikini type clothes, and I'm like,
on a hot day, it's common.
That's different. Like it's people know I'm not from here because of how I dress.
Yep.
And that's crazy. I didn't even know there was a thing. I always been into jewelry. I just like it. I don't worry to like people think I got a lot of money. I just always like shiny stuff as a child, and I have my own jewelry business. I can afford it. Mm-hmm. So it's like I always did that. But I look at everybody here, and they automatically, if I get to talk, they ask me where I'm from. Especially how I talk first, and then they ask me where I'm from. You got the accent right, for sure. Yeah, from jewelry, and they be like, because everybody just so relaxed.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, a couple other things we had on our list. Cost of living. What do you think? Was that surprising or not surprising? Or you kind of expected it?
I expected it, but I was reading like 2 days ago that San Diego is the number 3 highest
housing.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like where I live at now, 3,000.
Yep.
So it's like that was a major shock, and just had to get used to that. But the thing is, the minimum wage is different. The pay is different. So in the South, it's still $7.25.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So it's like now minimum wage here is like $16.
$16.50 minimum, I think. Yeah, something like that.
So I understand. It kind of evens out, but it's still crazy. I ain't gonna say it's ridiculous. It's just
people like the weather. It's a sunshine tax.
That's what you're paying for.
Right.
That's what you're paying for.
And so let's get into the weather. What do you think about that? How, did you know the weather was going to be like this?
I read about it, and it exceeded.
Yeah.
It exceeded because in Memphis it's hot or cold.
We get spoiled here, huh?
And I can, like, I literally, that's one of the culture shock things. I can't believe that people actually got to grow up here.
For sure.
Like, it's like, I can't believe they actually got to experience.
Have you ever had someone cancel plans with you because it was cloudy?
I hadn't had that, but I know it happens because it got a little cool here. Because I had to have a cold day here yet, and I had to have a hot day here. Because when it's cold in Memphis, it's ice on the ground. We don't get a lot of snow; it's icy because it's right there on the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And when it's hot, it's 100. It's 98 to 95.
Plus humidity.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's just, and it's like you can see the heat.
Yep.
You know,
it's like the waves. Yep.
Yeah. So when it got cool here for that little time, when I seen people with Ugg boots on and coats, I'm like, they complained about how cold it is. Then it got hot last year at one point.
We get spoiled.
I was like, this is not hot.
No, yeah. The tolerance for San Diegans to tolerate different weather is minimal. You know, but then also, have you noticed that depending on where you live and on the weather reports, we get 4 different weather reports, right? We get coastal, inland, mountain, and desert.
Right.
Because you're at the beach, it's like 70s all the time.
Yeah.
You go a couple miles inland, it's 80s. Yeah. You go a little further, it's 90s. And then you can go all the way and it's like 110.
Yeah, because I heard people like in Al Cajon areas, they talk about the heat. And I stay toward the downtown area, kind of near the water. And it's like, I don't feel it.
It can be 20, 30 degrees hotter in Al Cajon.
Yeah, that's insane.
So that's the difference.
It's so big though. Like, I did just even how you all got it set up. Like you got San Diego. Then you got, because San Diego is a county, but San Diego is a city too, right?
Correct. Yep.
So then you got La Jolla in San Diego. You got Al Cajon in San Diego. All these different cities in San Diego. Like I didn't know that when I got here. Mm-hmm. Like I thought everything was, and I didn't realize that everywhere in California was like that.
Yeah, there's so there's a city. San Diego itself has like 1.3 million people, but when you include the county, that's an additional 1.7. So we're up to 3-something million people for the county. So yeah, so San Diego proper does have a good chunk of people. That's where the highest concentration is. But then when you get out to places like El Cajon, Del Mar, Oceanside, these are all still San Diego County, but they're not the city. They have their own city, mayors, and and police and stuff like that. So they have their own different departments.
Yeah.
And it is pretty big. In fact, a lot of people don't realize this. San Diego is the 8th largest city in the U.S.
Yeah.
And it's the second largest in California.
Yeah.
So right behind LA, because even San Francisco, because it's the same thing, the city itself has like less than 1 million people. The surrounding area of San Francisco has probably a little bit more, maybe around the same. I'm not sure, because they've got all of, the South Bay and where Apple and all the tech stuff is in Silicon Valley. There's like still millions of people up there.
Yeah.
But city-wise, San Diego's still number 2.
Yeah, it's beautiful though, man. Like I said, the weather, the city, the people, is amazing. Like racism everywhere, and it shouldn't be. And in the South, you experience it all the time. I probably had one incident here. I'm like, if this is it.
So is that okay, or was that like less than you expected? Did you think you'd have something more?
I thought it was gonna be more. I'm like, if this is it, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like if this is it.
It should be rare.
It should be,
because people are starting to see and experience it. You got to treat people like individuals.
Yeah.
That's the case, right? You can't look at someone and say, "I know who you are." You don't know. There's good people and bad people of any color, any race.
Yeah,
that's the fact. Well, we covered it all, right? Traffic, cost of living, weather, culture, the diversity, and then how big it is. It's a pretty good sized city.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
There's a lot to do here. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you can make a list and you could do a different thing every day for 10 years and still not get everything done in San Diego. Well, that's it, man. That's a wrap. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Living in San Diego and sharing what you've learned. Appreciate you coming, Faharra.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much.
Cool. Good seeing you.
Yes, sir.